Welcome back everybody to another video, and as you saw in that first clip, we have hit day 1000 in my single player world. So that is the sunrise on this very special occasion. I'm not going to do a world tour or anything like that because I just did one 2 months ago or so around day 800, and then I did a day 900 update, which was very recently, just a week or so ago actually. But it is still important that we have day 1000. Part of me was wanting to wait and celebrate this on my live stream tomorrow, which this video is probably going to be out after that. It's currently Sunday, March 8th. This video probably won't come out until maybe later in the middle of the week or so. But I'm doing Monday evening, Monday night live streams now after I get back from orchestra, and I was hoping to kind of celebrate that this occasion, this 1000 days on that live stream, but I just couldn't wait. I have two, kind of technically three projects I really want to get to, kind of finish up to show you and that kind of thing, and I just couldn't wait another day to start on those. So the first thing I want to do is not actually start a project. It's a project that I did Friday night, and I want to show everyone that. And so we're actually going to use our nether system here. So if we just go through the portal. Now if you are a regular watcher of the channel, you'll know that I should not be staring at another portal right now, because this used to be a T intersection right here, and that is the portal that goes to my main base. So what's going on with this portal right here? Well, other than the fact that there's a little bit of XP and some creeper goop hanging around, if we go through, we're going to come to a slime farm here. So, not a whole lot going on the surface if we're being honest, but down there you can see where the slime farm is, have it denoted with this green glass and andesite, which I think looks really cool. If you're wanting overworld context for where this is, if I just fly up here, and if I update my settings, out of streamer mode, I actually need to update, no, yeah, that's good. Right over here is the Mega Village and my main base, so it's just right over here. It's not too far away. I found this slime chunk using that one browser that you can use. It's the same thing where you use Chunk Finder to find biomes. I use the same software to find this slime farm. So I believe, yeah, this is the one that we head down, and we'll just take a quick look at it. Not a whole lot going on here. I mean, it's your classic slime farm. It's got two spawning layers. We can actually hear one right now. Yeah, so you can see it working here in action right now. So we have two spawning platforms here that are lit up so that no other mobs will spawn except for the slime. And the slime are attracted to these iron golems, and then they proceed to fall down onto the magma. They're still attracted to the iron golems, and so they're going to just stay down there, and they're eventually just going to burn up and die, as you saw there. You also see now that there are no items, even though we just saw that there were some slime balls on the ground. If we drop down here, this is like what I call the main killing floor. You see all four of the places where the slime will fall and get incinerated. And then down below here, this is at bedrock level, is where all the items are getting collected, and we just simply have hopper minecarts running around and depositing them into chests. I've left myself a 3.5 block space, so if in the future I want to do a better version of this storage, I can. Maybe elevate it up to the surface, or at the very least combine it into one single like chest storage system. But for now, this is what I did for this project. And you can see it is working. We've got a little bit of slime in each one of these. We're also getting a little bit of like regular mob drops, which I don't know what that's from, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know if that was during testing or what the deal was with that. But regardless, that is been taken care of. It's only 2 platforms. We could have more, because currently the Y level up top, if we go, is only, if I get up there, This is the top spawning platform, and it's only a Y17, and we can go all the way up to Y40 with this. But this is one of those things where I really wasn't super interested in making the peak farm, the most efficient farm, that kind of thing, because I don't really actually need all that much slime really, and this isn't in an area where I'm going to be AFKing much or anything like that. This was mainly just a thing for me to build to scratch off the farms like lists that I've been making. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab all of this slime and take it back to my main base. And then I will take you to the next location where we are going to be working on, and that is the project that I'm excited to start today. As the sun sets behind me on day 1000, we are now standing in the next project location, which again is going to be another farm. So if we consult this book that I've got regarding all the farming stuff, the first 2 pages have everything that I'm currently farming to some extent, and I've already shown off this in another video as well, so I won't go too deep into it. But the third page is dedicated to the to-do list, the farms that I need to do or want to do. And there's currently 3 on it, though this list has kind of been fluctuating and changing and that kind of thing. So the first is pumpkin and melon farm. We're going to ignore that because, while yes, it does need to be done, it's so super simple. It's one of those things that maybe I'll even do tomorrow on the live stream. The next thing that I want to do, and this isn't going to be in order. If it were, we'd be in the nether right now. The next thing I want to do is a gold farm. The reason I haven't started the gold farm is I am collecting resources for it, but the problem is I don't know where to put it right now. I do have access to the nether roof. I've already poked a hole, as you may have saw in my Wither Skeleton improvements video. But I don't think it's a good idea to put it on top of the roof, right on top of the Wither Skeleton farm, because I think that's going to hurt the rates of both of them and make both of them not as efficient. And while, again, efficiency is not something that I'm super, fussed about, you'd rather have both work at their peak potential rather than, hurt both of them just to have them in the same location. So I have to figure out a place for that. But then the next one, and the one that we're going to be doing today, is a witch farm, and that is why I am standing in a swamp. Now, we're actually quite a ways away from my main base. We're at XZ 200, 700, so we're at least 700 blocks in the Z direction. So this is a long ways away, and actually I don't think we're too far. Yeah, that's what I thought. The Mega Savannah is right over here, and the portal to it should just be like right over there. So it's not too far of a little fly between that portal and here, but I already did some scouting in my nether system, and the Z coordinate here, which if we're centered is 707, 706, right in this area, lines up perfectly with one of the middle portions of my nether tunnel in the nether. And so I'm going to be building a portal here to connect to that, and so it's just going to be a straight shot. So there's quite a few things that we need to do here. The first is obviously take down the portal, but before we do that, we need to mark down different positions of it so that we can know where the witches are going to spawn, because the witches will only spawn in the bounding box of the hut, and so we need to mark that out before we take away the hut. The next thing I want to do is establish the drop area where all the witches are going to fall so that I can kill them. And the reason I need to establish that is so that I can then build the portal, because it makes more sense to just put the portal down at the bottom where I'd be killing the witches, so I don't have to do any fall or anything like that. I just enter in and can start killing once they start dropping. The next thing I have to do is go through and light caves. Now, one thing I learned from my Wither Skeleton farm is that you don't actually need a 128 by 128 perimeter around your mob farms. At least in 1.15.2. Now, I still think this is the same in newer versions, but the important thing to know is it has everything to do with your render distance. Now, up to a certain point, again, you have that 128 by 128 radius, but if I cranked up my render distance to 32 chunks, that wouldn't change. What changes is when you drop the render distance super low, and the lowest you can go is 2 chunks. Now, I've done testing on this in a test world, and you can actually see it's kind of atmospheric in the swamp biome with that really close fog. I think this is really cool. Also, it really increases your FPS, especially when you're recording. But the thing to know about this is when you crank your render distance, and in newer versions, your simulation distance too, down to as low as it can go, the rendering of mobs and mob AI does change as well. How does it change? Well, in this case, we have this witch hut, which is perfectly within the chunk that I'm currently standing in here. When you have your render distance set to 2 chunks, it's only 2 chunks adjacent to the chunk in which you're standing that are loaded. So what that means is that a 5 by 5 total area, 25 total chunks, will be rendered when you have your render distance set down like this. So I only need to worry about this chunk, and then same way on that end, on the north, south, east, and west, and then all the ones in the corners as well. But it's only 25 chunks that I have to worry about mob proofing, because even though witches are the only thing that'll spawn in the bounding box, the global mob cap, hostile mob cap, will still get taken up if I don't light up the caves. But I only need to light up 25 chunks worth of caves, not a 128 by 128 area for peak efficiency in that regard, which is super handy. The only thing you have to remember is to turn your render distance up or down depending on the situation. So I need to do that as well, and then we can start on the farm itself. So I think the plan that I'm going to end up doing, as you see a couple of mobs here that kind of prove the point as to why I need to spawn proof. What I'm going to do before the live stream is the infrastructure aspects. So I'm going to work on the nether tunnel. I'm going to work on setting up the perimeter here as well as the drop chute. And then on the live stream is when I'm going to actually build the farm itself. And then when that is done, I will take you back in this video and we will show this farm in action. Alright, it's been a few days, but on Monday I had a live stream and did the witch farm, which is right below me. It's super impressive, it's the best thing I've ever made, and I'm totally kidding. It is just a giant stone box. At least that's what it looks like from the outside. You've been hearing different mechanisms on the inside going. So there's a few different ways that you can do witch farms. You can do the shifting floor where they face the floor. Or you could do the much simpler option, which is what I did and what I cannot access right now for some reason. And that is just create a dark room and have a bunch of dispensers with water fire. And so what you'll see here in just a few seconds is these are going to fire like so. And so we're in the bounding box of the witch farm. So they'll spawn here because it's in complete darkness. The dispensers fire the water, and then they get fed down into here and drop down that hole where we have the killing chamber. So you're hearing a lot of pistons pushing around probably, and you're noticing, if you're being very attentive, that these are firing, and then here soon these are going to fire, and you're going to see water start dripping through the ceiling here. And that's because I have 2 platforms and they are on 2 separate hopper clocks. So if we get in here, we should be able to see one of those hopper clocks, just super simple, and it has 32 items in it. And so once the items fire, it goes long enough to get into this repeater, which then powers all of the dispensers. And as I said, I have 2, so that's the one for the bottom, and then there's one for the top up here. And how I set it up is that roughly they fire opposite of each other. So when the dispensers on the top floor release the water, the dispensers on the bottom floor retract the water, and then vice versa. So you should be getting a steady stream of witches. Another thing you also may notice is that I have spammed a bunch of torches because I found out that this doesn't work the greatest at night because I'm using the trick where I'm turning my render distance down to 2 chunks and I'm only rendering a total of 25 chunks. And so if this thing is going at night, the entire global mob cap exists on top of the farm here, and it really inhibits the rates. And you can also see that when I've come up a few times, there's been a few creeper blasts that I've had to fill out. So the coverage isn't perfect, as you can see, but I am working on that. I've got some more torches I can probably use. But that is the very basic witch farm. Again, it was built on stream, so if you want to see the entire process of me doing that, you can check out the stream. But let's go and let's check out the killing chamber below, because I'm really happy with that. Alright, so we're currently staring at the portal that leads to the Mega Savannah and my skeleton farm. And it is not too far of a jog in the nether tunnels to get to the tunnel to the witch farm. So we just head down this new tunnel here. We will enter into the killing chamber. And this is the killing chamber, and real quick what I'm going to do is turn down my render distance so that this farm will start working. So this was designed and built on the stream, and I'm really happy with it. So we have, I gotta remember, it's magenta terracotta for the floors, and then purple terracotta for the walls. We've got dark oak, as stripped dark oak as the different posts and support beams. Got nether brick just to kind of make the ceiling look a little darker. We've got quartz, so we've got a real light and dark contrast, but we're also emphasizing colors that I kind of think of when I think of witches and magic stuff, where you have that contrast of you got purpley colors as well as dark and light together. We have a bunch of chests here on either side as the witches start falling here. And so you'll kind of get a gauge as we look at the killing chamber here about the rates of this farm. Again, 2 stories using the water from the dispensers. So what is everything that you can get from the witch farm? Well, you can get sugar, you can get glowstone, gunpowder, redstone, sticks, spider eyes, water bottle or glass bottles, as well as occasional potions of fire resistance, as well as instant health potions. You can also see a smattering of that here in some of the killing that I've done. So the other thing I want to point out as well, I almost forgot to mention, is this really cool glass floor. This is 8 layers of glass going down, and then magenta terracotta going all the way down as well. I think it looks really cool and just really, I think, fits the vibe of the room. I'm not gonna lie, the witch farm's not working super fast right now. Normally it is quite a lot faster than this, but you can see I've done a little bit of farming and you can get the different things here. The main thing I think I'll end up using this farm for is the glowstone powder, the glowstone dust here, as well as maybe the sugar, and then to a lesser extent the sticks. I already have the cave spider farm, so I really don't have a use for the spider eyes. We've got a gunpowder farm. But if you're not someone that has those farms, this farm really does provide you a lot of different things for a very simple, very small cost farm. I also think that the inclusion of the instant health potions as well as the fire resistant potions are really cool additions. Because that's not something that you can necessarily farm super easy, especially the instant health potions, and it's super simple to turn these into instant health too and make them splash potions, which you can do using the gunpowder. I don't remember if instant health 2 comes from the use of redstone, glowstone, or something else, but we are seeing the rates on this farm increase quite a bit now. As I've been talking, we've got more items filtering in. And I have the clock up here. Like I said, the farm, I lit up the caves, but I didn't light up the surface too well. And if you don't light up one or the others super well, then this farm isn't going to work the greatest. Now I believe I have these witches dropping 29.5 blocks if you include the slab, and for the most part they will fall, I would say 9 out of 10, maybe even a greater percentage than that, fall and hit the slab and they end up as one hit. I think occasionally some will fall directly from the top of the farm down onto the slab, and that's why they end up dying when they hit the slab. That's my guess, but that's not a real big deal. Um, like I said, the rate of that isn't really too common for it to really be a concern. And as you can see now, the longer I've been talking, the better the rates have become as, again, night falls. So that is the witch farm that I built over the course of about 2 days. The only other thing I kind of want to mention is in the process of building this tunnel here to connect to the witch farm, I actually ended up dying 3 times and pretty much lost all of my stuff in the process. But I re-geared up. We have Yeeticus again, and then we've got all of our tools back as well as our armor. Just one of those things that you want to make sure that you always have backup stuff. I had all of those backup books which came in super handy and then refilled them instantly afterwards. So, if you're one of those people that continuously dies to lava, like me, then consider getting yourself backup gear, or maybe just not even work in the nether in an enclosed space like this with gear. But that is the witch farm build. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Leave a like on it if you did. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends, and I will see you in the next video.